Have you ever spent an hour perfectly blending a full face of makeup, only to catch your reflection under the fluorescent lights of a grocery store and realize you look entirely out of place? When you rely on a single default makeup routine for every situation, you back yourself into a corner. You either end up looking washed out and underpolished on camera, or completely overproduced while running simple daily errands. To fix this, a lot of women fall into the trap of adopting entirely different aesthetic personas to cope with their changing environments. They try to be the clean girl on Tuesday, the corporate matte executive on Wednesday, and full glam on the weekend. Constantly switching between these unrelated trends is cognitively exhausting. It turns your morning routine into a complicated performance, and worse, it completely dilutes your personal style. The way out of this cycle is to abandon autopilot convenience and build a strategy of controlled flexibility. That is how you ensure your makeup is appropriate for every lighting condition and setting without ever losing the core identity of who you are. Instead of memorizing one rigid sequence of steps, we use a framework called the routine wardrobe. It is a scalable system that adjusts volume based on your day. This animated table maps out the specific visual anchors of that system. Every look in your wardrobe must share these non-negotiable elements: satin skin, high peach rose blush, soft honey bronzer, feathered brows, lifted lashes, and warm lips. When you need a stronger look, there is one definitive rule you have to follow. You must increase structural definition before you increase harshness. Precision elevates the look, force does not. If you try to simulate glamour by jumping straight to heavy contour, block brows, or black smoky eyes, the system breaks. You lose your softness and replace it with a mask. The entire point of this strategy is consistency. You should never look like a different person depending on the day of the week. You are presenting as the exact same woman, simply operating at a different level of intensity. Memorizing this shared DNA and applying it to your specific facial map requires a bit of upfront planning, but that is the necessary trade-off to gain total visual adaptability in any context life throws at you. The first level of this wardrobe is the low-energy face. Some days you don't need polish. You need physical comfort and a little emotional reconnection. This routine uses only targeted concealer and a warm lip balm to restore baseline warmth to your face without demanding precision. Moving one step up is the 5-minute face. By adding quick, forgiving elements like brow gel and high cream blush, you create immediate visual coherence. It pulls you together instantly, but wears down softly. This chart plots our intensity ladder against everyday life. The first 3 rungs require low-effort inputs, but yield high physical comfort. Rung 3 is the casual face, built for daytime errands. We introduce soft bronzer, lifted mascara, and spot concealer to survive natural daylight. There is an intentional trade-off here. By omitting heavy foundation and liquid liner, this makeup will not project across a crowded room. But skipping those heavy elements absolutely prevents your face from looking thick and overworked when someone is standing right next to you. These early routines do exactly what they are designed to do. They prioritize physical comfort, emotional ease, and a graceful wear-down over high visibility impact. When you need to project credibility, we step up to routine 4, the everyday polished face. This is your daily baseline. It gives you the intelligent, feminine structure required to feel visually ready for standard professional settings. To achieve this structure, you introduce light powder strictly in the center of the face, a soft brown outer liner to define the eyes, and a satin rosewood lip for balanced polish. But the moment your context shifts from a physical room to a digital environment, that everyday look needs an upgrade. This brings us to routine 5, social media soft glam. Smartphone cameras present a very specific environmental constraint. The lenses artificially flatten facial dimension and aggressively wash out color, making a perfectly balanced everyday look appear completely undone on a screen. Look at this side-by-side comparison to see how the lens changes things. On the left, the everyday look vanishes on camera. On the right, by intentionally increasing blush saturation, adding a champagne highlight, and dropping in outer corner lashes, perfect dimension is restored. The trade-off for this digital polish is proximity. This routine will feel slightly heavier when viewed in your bathroom mirror, but it will translate as plush, lifted, and romantic through the digital lens. Surviving digital spaces doesn't require adopting baddie glam. It only requires a calculated volume increase of your existing warm inputs. Next, we face the most high-stakes visual environments you can step into: graduation photography and professional broadcast appearances. Routine 6 is designed for professional photos. High-resolution photography requires long-wearing satin foundations and meticulous T-zone powder. The makeup has to be completely stabilized to withstand prolonged scrutiny and studio lighting. Routine 7, the on-camera face, is the most restricted routine in the entire wardrobe. We have to label high gloss, chunky glitter, and heavy lashes as actual communication hazards. On video, uncontrolled fluctuating shine distracts the viewer from listening to the words you are speaking. You generate authority on camera through clarity, not heavy trend-based makeup. We achieve this by relying exclusively on controlled shine, clean feathered brows, black lash definition, and a stable satin lip. True professional routines demand sacrifice. You have to trade ultra-dewy trends and expressive finishes for unwavering stability and visual credibility. Once you step away from professional lenses, the rules relax. For Routine 8, the romantic evening face, you can reintroduce touchable softness. The low lighting allows for muted copper browns and a controlled, intimate lip gloss to catch the ambient light. Which brings us to the apex of the wardrobe, Routine 9, the full soft Poetic Muse Glam. This is the complete execution of your shared makeup DNA. It involves applying every single anchor element we discussed, but doing so with maximum refinement and taking the precision time required to perfect the blend. The critical distinction here is that pushing your intensity to the absolute maximum must result in a clarified version of yourself. It should never turn into an aggressive or theatrical mask. When you follow the strict rules of scaling, full glam stops being an overwhelming performance. It simply becomes a sequence of intelligent, methodical refinements. Most makeup mistakes have nothing to do with the actual quality of the product. Failures almost always happen because a high-value product was deployed in the entirely wrong environmental context. Take heavy false lashes, for example. They provide necessary contrast for photography, but if you wear them while running errands in the daylight, they look entirely artificial and high maintenance. Lifted mascara, shown on the right, is functionally correct for daytime light. The opposite failure is just as common. Under-applying key elements, like wearing a pale beige lip or skipping blush when you're tired, doesn't make you look natural. It actively drags down the face's energy. Makeup products possess no universal moral value. They are only functionally correct or functionally incorrect based on the specific lighting conditions and the proximity of the viewer. To make this system actionable every morning, we use the Routine Selection Mirror Check. This is a rapid assessment protocol that immediately determines the exact correct intensity for your day. You simply ask yourself 3 questions. What is my physical stamina today? What kind of lighting or camera presence will I face? And exactly how close will my audience be standing to me? Answering those specific questions dictates exactly which of the 9 rungs you need to select. It entirely removes morning guesswork and kills the urge to chase whatever trend is currently on your feed. The governing mantra of this entire system remains the same. You do not need to invent new personas. You just need to be the exact same woman, presenting at different intensities. Adopting this framework elevates your makeup routine from a frustrating autopilot chore into an active, intelligent strategy. In our next lesson, we will step into the troubleshooting clinic, where we'll cover exactly how to diagnose and fix makeup harmony errors on the fly without panic.